Hello, everybody. Welcome to NTWC Plus, the 7th episode of Season 6. Good to have you along today. We've got a great program for you today. Jason Dunion is here. We'll get to him in just a moment. I think it's going to be a fascinating program today, as always. Of course, our usual guests are here, Bill and Hal. But first, let's thank our sponsors. So there's Bill. Oh, wait a minute, Bill, where are you? Is that a fake backdrop behind you somewhere?
Yeah, no, it's not a virtual image. It's the real thing. I'm in Chimayo, New Mexico, roughly 6,500 feet higher up than you are. And it's a beautiful blue sky day here. And you see if the image was tilted a little, you could see the Jemez Mountains 40 miles across.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful image back there. So you have to take us for a tour one of these days when you're up there. That'd be great.
There we go.
That was good. Dr. Howe, you're somewhere in the jungle, it looks like. Where are you this morning?
I'm outdoors actually on Galveston Island. I've been out on the beach doing a lot of weather forecast and looking at the Gulf. I thought might as well stay outside for the broadcast today. The dew point's only 26 degrees, so I'm enjoying that.
26 degrees.
Yeah, 26 Celsius. I switched over to that scale for the summer. So about 79 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, you're both at 26, but on different scales this morning. So
there you go.
Yeah, there we are. Perfect.
Well, good to have you guys along as always. Let's take a moment and thank those sponsors who make these shows a possibility. Then we'll get into it. USAA, thanks USAA. You do a great job for us. We appreciate it. South Padre Island Convention and Visitors Bureau, the host of the National Tropical Weather Conference. We'll see you all there again in April of 2026. Hard to believe. The Weather Company, Weather Boy, and Live View, the organizations who make NTWC Plus a possibility. In our 6th season of doing this throughout the hurricane season, from June 1 all the way to the end of November, we're here each and every week to bring you a new program. So I think today's going to be fascinating. Jason Dunion's with us, so I think, Hal, you've got the introduction today. So let's get to that, and we'll get started with the program. Hal?
Yeah, let's hop to it. Our audience is going to love this episode today. Dr. Jason Dunion is a leading hurricane researcher with NOAA's Hurricane Research Division and a key contributor to improving our understanding of tropical cyclones. Known for his groundbreaking work on Saharan air layers and hurricane structure, Dr. Dunion combines cutting-edge field research with real-time forecasting support. His expertise plays a vital role in NOAA's mission to enhance hurricane prediction, protect lives, and advance science. Dr. Dunion also serves as a key educator and mentor in the field. Jason, so glad to have you on the broadcast this morning. I know we've had you on before. Our audience has really loved hearing about what you're doing. Could you give us an update? What are the new things that you're working on there, you and your team, with the Hurricane Research Division?
Well, it's always great to be with you guys. There's always something new that we want to test out. This year in the field, we're going to be testing a wind LiDAR that we've got on one of our hurricane hunters. So it actually looks down and gives you a 3D look at what the winds look like. We've never tested this unit before, so it's going to be pretty exciting. And as usual, we'll be running into we'll talk about it today, of course, lots of Saharan dust outbreaks. We're always flying through those each year. So we take advantage of sampling them during a lot of our missions that we're flying.
Yeah, we got a lot of comments last time just how much in situ observations you're doing. You're going out, you're flying into storms, you're deploying these different technologies to measure. So the first thing you mentioned, you said it's a wind LiDAR. How does that work, and what are the advantages? What can that help improve in hurricane forecasting?
It's a really interesting unit. So, we have our typical dropsons, we call them, little parachuted weather instruments that we launch out of the planes. And those give you a single look all the way down to the surface of the ocean every 15 feet or so. If we've got this wind LiDAR, it's giving us continuous observations all the way across the flight path. And we might be doing, these figure 4 patterns, and even a butterfly pattern. And it's giving us a look all along the way. So it's almost like a dropson on steroids, and it's able to get the winds below the aircraft during the entire flight.
So Jason, the wind LiDAR, does it stay attached to the airplane, or does it come detached? Is it almost like a dropson that moves horizontally as well? Yeah,
that's a great question. So this one is not going to be scanning yet. We're kind of testing it out this season since it's never been done. So we're taking advantage of a camera port that looks down. We've had it for years on the P3s. It's really just taken pictures in the past. And we said, well, why don't we try putting this wind LiDAR in this camera port so it's looking down as we're flying. But to your point, the idea in the future would be to have one that's scanning, so we're actually able to get a bigger picture of what the winds look like. So it's baby steps this year, but I think it's going to be pretty exciting.
That's pretty amazing. So, what kind of data could potentially you get from those wind LiDAR?
Yeah, so it's almost like the dropsonde gives us 3D winds all the way to the surface. This can do the same thing, especially if we have a scanning capability. So you're able to basically feed this 3D wind information to the forecast models. Forecasters at the Hurricane Center can take a look at it. So it's really giving us a look at the winds in a way that we've really never been able to do before.
Jason, I know you and your team have worked a lot with Saharan air layer. Let's start off by why is that important for hurricane forecasting?
This one's interesting. There were folks studying this. My old boss was studying this back when I was in diapers. So we've known about these giant dust storms for years. What we started to unlock when we had our latest satellites, the GOES series, we call them. We're up to GOES 19 right now. We were able to start tracking these things, and we knew they were big coming off of Africa, but we didn't know how big. They're the size of the lower 48 states. I mean, it's pretty mind-boggling how large they are. And more importantly, they reach all the way across the Atlantic. So they'll reach places like South Florida, the Gulf states, even the southeast U.S. coast. And if we started zooming in a little bit, we started to notice, hey, not only is this really dry air, but it's interacting with a lot of the seedling hurricanes that are coming out of Africa. So we started to get new eyes on how these dust storms can actually they actually act to suppress the storms.
That's fascinating. So, Jason, we know that hurricanes like a moist atmosphere. I had a question for you that came in this spring. So sometimes we'll just get high pressure and dry air out there without the Saharan dust. What happens when you add the Saharan dust? I mean, is it even more prohibitive for hurricane development? Or if you already have a dry atmosphere, does it not really change things that much?
Yeah, that's a great question. I kind of look at the Saharan air layer or Saharan dust outbreaks as having it's a trifecta. So the first piece is dry air. And if you're down on the surface, you don't actually feel it. It's about a mile above your head. But it's about half the moisture that we see in the tropics, even very deep in the tropics. And it's a great way to starve a thunderstorm or a cloud when it starts to suck in that dry air. You get these downdrafts and it just kills the storm. So that's trifecta number one. The second piece that's part of this package of these dust storms is very strong winds. And it's up at about 10 or 15,000 feet. And we've measured it with the balloons, with the hurricane hunters. It can be anywhere from 25, I've seen 50, 55 mile per hour winds. And that acts to rip your clouds apart, rip your hurricane apart. So that's trifecta number two. The third piece is the air is very warm up there, and it's almost like a lid. You can imagine this